Have you ever wondered why the color green is often associated with bad luck, decay, and poison? And why did it come to be so feared in the fashion world to the point where even the iconic Coco Chanel refused to use it in her design? In today's video, we are talking all about the color green, exploring the history of it, particularly within the fashion scene, and the superstitions that surround this mysterious color. The story traces back to the 19th century when arsenic-containing pigments were widely used in fabrics, paints, and wallpapers. These dangerous materials cause severe health issues and even deaths, embedding a deep-rooted fear of the color green into society. In the 2005 documentary Signé Chanel, we get a glimpse at the behind the scenes of the House of Chanel and meet Madame Dominique, who is the premièrement in the draping studio of the House of Chanel, so she has this great significant role in the creation of their designs. During the documentary, Madame Dominique says, "Seamstresses don't like green, but I just don't think it's pretty. It isn't out of superstition, I'm not superstitious at all." Her statement reveals this great aversion to the color green in the fashion industry. Gabrielle Coco Chanel, born in 1883, was orphaned at the age of 12 and learned to sew from nuns, and by her early 20s she worked in a fashion boutique and later opened her own millinery shop. Chanel was taught by an older generation of professionals, including Lucienne Rabatte and Caroline Rebout, known as the Queen of Milliners, and they belonged to an older generation and therefore likely remembered these arsenical pigments and perhaps even suffered medical conditions from them, instilling in Chanel this fear and maybe a vague superstition of the color green. So it's likely that these mentors influenced Chanel's decision to avoid the color in her collection and transforming this fear into a vague superstition. Coco Chanel's signature black and white palette left little room for natural shades like green, and her successor Karl Lagerfeld carried on this aversion too. Today, Chanel is still synonymous with a lack of green in most of its color, which is a testament to the enduring impact of this mysterious color. One pivotal moment in the history of fashion was the tragic death of Matilda Scheurer in 1861. Matilda Scheurer was a young artificial flower maker who worked in a London workshop where she regularly handled a vibrant green powder in order to create various fashionable items. Unbeknownst to her though, this powder contained a lethal dose of arsenic. As the press reported on the gruesome details of Scheurer's death, the public was made aware of the dangers lurking within their own clothing and accessories. Scheurer's symptoms were gruesome. Her vomit turned green, the whites of her eyes required a greenish hue, and she even told the doctor that everything she looked at was green. Investigations after her passing revealed that her fingernails had become green and the toxic substance had infiltrated her vital organs. In the wake of Scheurer's death, various organizations sought to uncover the extent of arsenic use within the fashion industry, and one such organization was the Ladies Sanitary Association, whose members investigated the working conditions of artificial flower makers such as Scheurer. The organization then enlisted the renowned chemist Dr. A.W. Hoffman to examine the artificial leaves in women's headdresses. Hoffman's alarming findings, published in a London Times article sensationally titled "The Dance of Death," were revealing that a single headdress contained enough arsenic to poison 20 individuals. The results of Dr. Hoffman's examination led people to claim that the women wearing these garments were murderers. The British Medical Journal even went so far as to call these women killing creatures, which was a Victorian slang and the origin of the term femme fatale. Well may the fascinating wearer of it be called a killing creature. She actually carries in her skirts poison enough to slay the whole of the admirers she may meet within half a dozen ballrooms. The term femme fatale, which translates to fatal woman from French, originated in this time to describe a woman whose charm and beauty was dangerously seductive, often leading men to their ruin. However, the women blamed for these incidents were the same social class of the women who prompted change by investigating and even calling a chemist to back up their claims. In the 19th century, arsenic was everywhere, and while the green wreaths made the headlines, the substance was found in foods such as candies and beer and used in medicine and even murder. Even a child could buy it off the counter, and while attempts were made to regulate its sales, its use remained widespread in the industry, leading to hundreds of tons of the substance entering consumer products annually. One striking story involved a lady who purchased a pair of green gloves from a reputable establishment in 1871. However, the gloves caused repeated ulceration around the lady's fingernails, leading to the discovery that they contained arsenic salts, which wasn't very surprising because back then gloves were dyed with a liquid application with no further treatment to fix the color, which made it very easy for the dye to leach onto the wearer's sweaty hand. In factories and workshops alike, arsenic exposure was very common and it coated the floors, harming both rodents and workers alike, and they carried these substances to their homes, on their clothes, and then spread it throughout their cramped living quarters. Prior to the 1780s, the green hues were obtained by mixing blue and yellow dyes. However, these natural dyes were very prone to fading, leading to Carl Wilhelm Scheele's invention of copper arsenide, also known as Scheele's green. This hue became immensely popular, coloring all kinds of products, including fashion items and even candies. In an era of rapid industrialization, this crazy demand for green pigments was partly driven by a romantic reverence for nature, as urban environments increasingly became dominated by shades of gray, brown, and black. Additionally, the association between nature and femininity led to the popularity of green in women's fashion. Women were often likened to flowers, with their red-cheeked bloom symbolizing sexual maturity and ripeness. Also, the widespread use of arsenical green wallpapers pose severe health risks, as the pigment would react to the mold spores and the glue, especially in damp climates like England, and would release lethal hydrogen cyanide gas. Public knowledge of these dangers grew with the invention of arsenic detection tests in the 1830s, leading to outrage and fear of toxic colors in consumer products. Her eyes formed of emptiness and shade, her skull with flowers so deftly decked about, upon her dainty vertebrae is swayed. Oh, what a charm when nullity tricks out. Roy Campbell's translation of Charles Baudelaire's Danse Macabre. The historic Dance of Death, or Danse Macabre, was a symbolic depiction of how no one, regardless of social status, was above death or could escape death. As the Industrial Revolution transformed society, dance also evolved with the scandalous waltz. And this was a morally controversial dance, as we can tell from Lord Byron's anti-waltz poem, condemning the lewd grasp and lawless contact between male and female dancer. Hot from the hands promiscuously applied, round the slight waist or down the glowing side. And despite its risque reputation, even Queen Victoria enjoyed waltzing with Prince Albert. However, the waltz brought partners into dangerously close contact, and this intimacy exposed men to the arsenic-laden dresses and hair accessories of their female dance partners, further emphasizing the grim symbolism of the dance as pictured in this illustration titled "The Arsenic Waltz," published on Punch magazine, likening the waltz to a danse macabre. This intriguing and dark chapter of fashion history reminds us to stay vigilant when it comes to our consumer products and the well-being of those who make them for us. Because in today's society, we are still facing similar problems when it comes to the chemicals and the dyes and the working conditions in modern fashion factories. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it intriguing and interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more fashion, sewing, and fashion history related videos. See you next time!